Welcome to another edition of FH&P Lawyers Law Talk. I'm Clay Williams. I'm a partner here at FH&P together with one of our newly minted partners. Congratulations, Tanvir Gill.
Thank you.
Who I think you became a partner, what, a couple months ago?
January.
Well, that's great. So that's wonderful that you can help to share the debt with me. So,
isn't it just so great?
Yeah, spreading the risk.
All of a sudden, the stress is just
Tanvir.
much worse.
So with us today is Darren Kautz. Welcome, Darren.
Thank you.
Now, Darren is the head of our litigation department and is responsible for what, like 12, 13 lawyers, something like that?
We have 12 lawyers with me now, yeah.
12 lawyers. Yeah. Okay, boy, we got a lot of litigation, lots of disputes going on.
Lots of fights.
Yeah. So just to give a little background there, lawyers often organize themselves into two main types of lawyers. One's are solicitors, and they do more like, documentation and
Happy law.
Yeah, well, then Tanvir is a solicitor,
lawyer.
so contracts and deals and that type of thing, and litigators. Or in the old days, they call them barristers. And
right.
Barristers are they unhappy lawyers?
They're unhappy or fighting for the unhappy folks, going to court.
So today, what we're going to talk about is something that the litigation department sees a lot of, I guess, which is insurance denials.
That's right.
And you guys handle claims directly against insurance companies who have said, no, we're not going to pay that out.
That's right. Yeah, and it's near and dear to my heart. I actually quite enjoy disputing these and fighting with insurance companies. Yeah, it's been part of my practice for over a decade now.
Okay, and I was thinking about this when you said you wanted to talk about it, and I mean, insurance, it's everywhere. I mean, it just permeates our life, our existence, doesn't it? And I mean, there's so many different types of insurance. The ones I've dealt with, that I just off the top of my head, fighting disability denials, disability benefits, and travel insurance. I remember doing claims for. People that are off on holidays and have a heart attack or some medical emergency, and the hospital bills weren't covered. I remember doing one where this was some years ago, and the insurance company dug out this poor lady's, asked for all of her pre-existing medical stuff, and even though she hadn't been diagnosed with the condition, they said she had a pre-existing condition based upon the clinical records. I thought disgusting behavior. Another one we're dealing with all the time now is the homeowner protection, homeowner warranty, new home warranty. And so that's in the context of when you buy a new or you build a house, and the builder must provide a homeowner policy now, and that is issued by an insurance company who may say, no, that's not a structural issue. It may or may not collapse. So those type of things. So, and I know you've dealt with a lot of this.
For sure. And there's life insurance policy disputes, there's travel insurance policies, I think you mentioned, mortgage insurance policy disputes. And mortgage insurance policy disputes can be a couple different things, whereby, you can have a mortgage insurance that say, old Clay here, we put in life insurance on him to cover the mortgage.
I think that you're like young Clay, right?
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah.
This is why he always buys travel insurance now.
That's right.
Well,
because he's old and he knows the risk is just
I haven't
too
been
high.
cut off yet. So.
But we get mortgage insurance that should Clay pass away, the mortgage will be covered. And, that is extremely common nowadays because people's mortgages have been ballooning over the years. There's no longer a $50,000 mortgage anymore. You have, $400,000 or $500,000 mortgages.
It's big bucks now.
Substantial.
Yeah, I think we all have I think we have life insurance on each other now.
We do. We do.
So yeah, it's just everywhere you see, and you're right about it. Everything's so expensive now. I mean, you get hurt in a foreign country, big bucks. Mortgages are big bucks. So yeah, absolutely. If Tanvir was to pass away, I don't think we've got a $50,000 policy on you and a $2 million policy on Darren. But hey, who's judging?
My husband has a $1.4 million insurance policy on me too.
You better be careful.
I should be very careful when he says, "Let's go on vacation, babe."
Better check the country you're going to first.
The riptide was crazy that day.
Get on this helicopter right now.
Jeez. And it's expensive. Insurance is expensive, and it's getting more expensive. And we're all told, well, it's all these natural disasters. It's due to climate change and all that. But you pay a lot, and often you don't get a lot. And so let's talk about what happens after a loss. So there's a loss, and I guess.
A denial.
And denial,
And
yes.
a denial. Well, I kind of did want to talk a little bit about the broker, because I have a lot of respect for some of the brokers we deal with and helping our clients to navigate through trying to deal with the underwriter. And do people appreciate, I don't know, that there's a difference between the underwriter, the insurance company, and the people that sell them that insurance. And they can be very, very helpful.
They can, but they can also be liable potentially as well.
That was, I was talking out of both sides of my mouth there, I think, wasn't I?
That's right. So, at the same point, your broker still owes you a duty. You come in there and you sit down and you say, look, I want insurance on my home. And the insurance broker says, okay, tell me about your home. And you tell them about your home. And then they sell you a policy that is underwritten by the insurance company itself. If the broker, though, unfortunately fails to put aspects that you told them about in the policy, and you're not insured then by the underwriter, and something bad happens. As an example, and this is something that I've dealt with historically, are wood stoves. So we're in British Columbia. I have a wood stove. I love it. Wood heat's great, but it is a liability in your home, and insurance companies will charge you a premium for having wood heat in your home. Now, if you...
I don't think so. I think only if it's primary source.
So even if it's secondary, you're still paying more, Clay. So double check.
Insurance company, I'm sure.
What about a pool? That's more like Kelowna relevant. Would your insurance company be charging higher?
Absolutely, because it's more risk. Anything that adds risk to your home or your where you're at is going to increase your policy premiums. So as an example with wood stoves, if your broker, you tell them, I have a fireplace in my house, wood fireplace, and I show him a picture of it, and he unfortunately doesn't check off on the policy that you have a wood fireplace in there, and then your house burns down because of the wood fireplace, your policy will be denied. And you're in a difficult position where you're going to have to end up coming to me, and we are going to have to sue the broker, and we're going to have to sue the insurance company because they've denied your policy.
So a first party and a third party claim. So you're suing the insurance company directly, a first party claim, suing the broker for negligence, and presumably that broker has insurance to cover that loss, I guess. Right. So, okay, and so tell us you got some war stories for us about some of the things you've been doing? Sure,
yeah. So again, I like this area law. It's interesting, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, I find, as our population ages. So as we get more and more elderly people in, they have a life insurance policy, and life insurance policies usually cap out at a certain age. So some of them are 65, some of them 70. There's always a maximum cap on those life insurance policies. Now, what happens when you get to the point of dementia and you perhaps fail to pay your premiums for a few months? Can the insurance company deny your claim then if you pass away within that period? And the answer is complicated. So it will depend on facts. It will depend on what the insurance company or brokerage did by notifying you or the family. Did they check in on you? Technically, again, the insurance companies every year are supposed to update you on your policy. So if your mental health has changed, if something's happened. But I have been seeing a lot of dementia cases where elderly people have missed premium payments, passed away, and then their claim is denied for their insurance policy. It's a real problem nowadays.
It just reminds me our last week, was it, when we did one on estate litigation, and how important it was to write down your assets. I guess insurance policies would be really important too, because if you miss those payments, then the policy could lapse. Yeah. So that's another thing you'd better communicate with your kids. But anyway,
your kids,
yeah. So okay, well that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, disability insurance, I'm more familiar with that, and boy, those can be litigated, and those policies have been written very intelligently to favor the insurance company. They've been around a long time, and they got good lawyers defending them. So,
so what are some ways that you've been able to to get around perhaps some of the contractual obligations?
Well, part of it is the evidence that you're presenting, and so something that you can often use is, they may have the insurance company may go and send your client to a doctor who says, "Oh no, this person isn't disabled from everything. This person can do this or that," and so the disability benefits will stop. But if if you use something like an occupational doctor, I found they can look at the totality of the disabilities.
Yeah.
Then oftentimes you can get that over the hump that way. Is one way to do it. But that requires some planning, some skill, some connections, and so that's something that we can certainly help you with.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, our firm is a full service firm. We can help you with a gamut of everything from solicitor work through all the way to interpreting contracts, all the way to take it into court if they deny your claim.
These homeowner protection claims now, or homeowner, the new home
Warranty.
new home warranty claims. That's we've seen a lot of that too, and a lot of these policies are, man, they're strictly interpreted, and there's time limits to bring these claims. So I wanted to bring up limitation acts and limitation provisions, which are in the contracts, and they're also in the legislation. So you've got really strict reporting requirements, and but don't give up. Just because you've been denied doesn't mean that it's something that we can't help with.
No, I encourage everyone, if you've been denied, it is worth coming in to see us. We will happily walk you through your factual case, happily walk you through whether or not, we think that there's a chance. And if we get to that point, I always encourage clients, like I have a team of litigators here. We will say, look, come in and we'll do a full memo for you to give you a breakdown of the interpretation of the contract, your specific factual situation, the law, and then let you know what's happening after that. And even then, I still sometimes will shoot a fairly aggressive letter across the bow to the insurance company saying, we're going to proceed, to see if they'll blink. Because insurance companies like to deny claims. It's how they keep their volume and their monies high, by not paying out all of these different plans.
I remember reading a case, there's a quote, something along the lines of, an insurance company doesn't make money by paying out its claims.
No, yeah, it's true. And again, I'm finding over the last few years, as our population ages, you're seeing it more and more where, you've just lost your loved one. You don't want to fight with anyone in the insurance companies, and you just want it to all be concluded. So they're denying these claims, and then no one's doing anything about it. And that for me is a problem, because I fundamentally want to make sure that our clients are protected.
Yeah, another one I'm thinking of is, floods and climate change, and, things like fires, and, all these crazy things that are happening. And I think that's driving up the cost of insurance, but it's also, I think, forcing some of the insurance companies to get more aggressive in their denials.
Absolutely.
And so don't abandon hope. There's definitely people like Darren who can take these guys to task.
That's right. Yeah, no, we're here to help. So.
All right. So again, if you got any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and we will endeavor to answer them. And till next time. Thank you, Darren, and thank you, Tanvir.